Hey, Coach Deb here with another meteorology short. This mini lesson is predicting or forecasting wind speed and direction. So I'm going to go to the GFS right here. And then to get to wind speed and direction, again, you're going to click on Great Lakes. And then over on the left-hand side, surface and temperature. So with surface and temperature, you can predict a few of those variables on the template that we use. But with wind speed and direction, we're actually looking at the wind barbs and the little lines or the flags that come off of the wind barbs. So you can see them a little bit better over here in the lighter colors on this map. And remember too, we always, when we talk about wind direction, we tell the wind direction from the direction that it's coming from. So with wind speed and direction, and also a few of these different variables, we break it down into day and night. But for day, I usually look at 12Z and then 00Z for night. So you can't always do that for all of these variables like temperature. You have to look at the high and low throughout the day. But day would be 7 a.m., 12Z, and night would be 7 p.m., 00Z. So let's just look at how we forecast this. I'm going to scroll ahead to a lighter colors where we can see the wind speed and direction. So here is, so let's start with this one here. Here's 12Z on January 25th. So that'd be 7 a.m. So I'm looking at the barbs right around Fruitport, Michigan. So there's one north of us and one south of us. So the wind direction on these, if it's a northwest, south, northeast, southwest compass, we tell the direction that it's coming from. So with this right here, the winds are coming from the east. Okay, so that's the direction the winds are blowing from. You can look at these little flags on the lines and they point to the direction, or the wind goes through those flags into the center of the line. So with this, the winds would be coming from the east at 12Z, and the wind speed would be between 10 and 15 knots there. Between 10 and 15 knots if you're looking at the wind barbs. So this one down here is actually 15, a long line and a small line, and this one is 10. Or you can put your cursor right over Fruitport, and it will give you the wind speed in knots on there. This says 8 knots here, so you could write that down too. So to fill in this sheet, at 12Z, I am going to put a wind direction from the east, and the wind speed, you can even put 5 to 15 knots. So as long as you know what you're looking at here to get that wind speed and direction. Okay, so now I'm going to do night. I'm going to scroll ahead to 00Z, which it says Friday, but it's actually 7 p.m. on Thursday because we're 5 hours behind that. And the wind speed here, you can see that it's coming from all different directions. So this one's a little bit more difficult. This is actually closer to calm. But if I was looking at this wind barb right here, it would be from the south or the southwest at about 5 knots. So if I put my cursor over Fruitport, it says 3 knots there. So I'm going to say the wind direction, you could put south, or you could just put a line because it's switching so much. And the wind speed 0 to 5 knots. So let's look at another one. You guys think about it before I put the key up. So I'll scroll ahead to, let's do 12Z here. So this would be day. You can see the wind barbs. The direction of the wind is coming from the north and at about 5 knots. So I'm going to put in north at 5 knots. And if I scroll to 00Z, that would be 7 p.m. The wind here from the northwest or the northeast at, again, about 5 to 10 knots. The northeast at about 5 to 10 knots. Okay, so again, looking at the wind barbs, let's just look at one more. So here's 12Z. Here's 12Z. Think about it for a second. Winds are coming from the southwest. So let me draw that again. They're coming right through there from the southwest. And at about 10 knots. And at 00Z, take a look at it. Winds are still coming from the southwest at about 10 knots or 10 to 15 knots. All right, so again, that's how you find wind speed and direction.